on this episode of Damsels in the DMs.
Like, I love using fashion as a way to express myself. And I'm definitely not like LA trendy at all, but it's still so fun to just like wear like color and just kind of like be like, just do my own thing. I feel like myself, I feel confident. And I feel like it shows to other people. I don't dress for compliments necessarily, but like, I think that it's really cool when like you're feeling yourself in an outfit and then like other people are like, oh, wow, she also like, she looks amazing. Like, wow, look at her.
There's some damsels in the DM.
Yes, queen.
Tell us what's the vibe. There's some damsels in the DM. Please tell us what's the vibe. DMs, yeah we see them, yeah we read them. DMs, we don't need them, we just leave them.
Please.
Yeah.
It's going down in the DMs. Bye.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Damsels in the DMs. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Osh.
And I just have to tell you guys, so while we were recording this episode, Brian has a vacuum cleaner. As you all know, I have a dog named Ernie. So the vacuum cleaner is named Bert. It's like one of the Roomba ones, so that they're Bert and Ernie. And the vacuum cleaner, just goes during the day. Now, I have just ended my Wednesday, Friday classes. So I am typically never home during the day, but this is my first time being home for Bert's scheduled appearance. Also, I had such a crazy day today that I haven't even made my bed, which is why we're recording today's episode in the living room, because I didn't want you guys to have to look at my unmade bed. So I didn't know that Bert is scheduled to go promptly every day at 4:45. So while we were recording this episode, I just hear Bert like starting to make his little entrance into the room. And I was like, what the hell is that? Because I didn't know that he just goes at the same time every day. Anyway, we shut off Bert, stopped his little appearance, but
does Ernie not like react to Bert, or, like try to like chase after him or bite him, or
he like isn't thrilled by Bert's appearance? Like he like kind of tries to avoid him and stuff, but I wouldn't say that he's scared of him,
Okay, yeah,
they're in this together.
Yeah, they're like co-living, but kind of like roommates that are just like whatever.
Exactly. I mean, Bert is like really aggressive. Like he'll just run into things. Like he doesn't care. He's like he's a tank. He's a big guy, so he just like goes everywhere.
I saw a video on Instagram where they had a Bert as well. Like this person's parents had a Bert, and Bert escaped.
He escaped
through the front door. Literally just left, goes down the driveway and says bye.
Bert would do something like that. Give him the opportunity, he absolutely would.
He'll get in the elevator, he'll go down, say bye to the doorman, and get on out to New York.
Get into the city, baby. He's ready. Anyway, Osh, how are you aside from vacuum cleaners?
I'm great. My mom is here. She's here for 10 days. She got here on Saturday. So we've just been hanging, shopping, cooking. She's been meeting my friends. It's been really nice.
Wow, that's so nice of you to share your mom. Whenever my parents visit me, I'm like, you are mine and you don't get to see anybody.
No, I don't share my mom. I don't. Okay, I was thinking, I was like, wow, my mom hasn't really hung out with any of my friends.
Yeah.
Like she hasn't spent time with them. And meanwhile, my brother and his friends like love my mom and they all hang out and she like knows all of them. So I was like, okay, this is an opportunity for my mom to like meet my friends and hang out with them. But usually this is why I don't share her with my friends. That's why they don't really know her. And I had Cora over for dinner on Sunday. Cora, for those of you who don't know, is one of my best friends. And she knows my mom, but my mom like started inviting her to everything. And I was like, dude, what are you doing?
Like your mom just started texting her?
No, just like when Cora came over on Sunday, she was like, oh, come over. We have dinner plans on Tuesday. Why don't you come to dinner? She's like, okay. And then yesterday she was like, want to come over for dinner tomorrow? I was like, do you hate me?
I would be mad. I would not be happy.
I was like, and then today I was like, can we just cancel and like just hang out, me and you? And I rain checked on Cora and I was like, me and you are going to have dinner. Cause now tomorrow we're going to Huntington Beach to hang out with my cousin. And then we're going to sleep over at her. She's going to come to mine for the weekend. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. But obviously she's going to, and I love her. But I'm like, then my time with my mom's gone.
You and your 200 cousins too. So I know that's going to take up some time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, today, everybody, we are talking to Alicia Tenise, who I have been following on Instagram for a long time. She just came out with a book, which is why I got the amazing idea to have her on, because now we're talking about content creators, artists of all facets. So it was perfect to hear about her journey and to what she's been doing.
Yeah, honestly, she also was so open about depression and mental health. So that was a really nice a change, like a nice change from
Totally.
just like bubbly, happy, like whatever. It's like it's very real. And you'll see, what it's like to be a content creator and face some of the things that, people face day to day with opening yourself up to social media and people's comments and stuff. So it was really nice to see a real part of someone who is an influencer, and their job is to show colors and
Yeah.
like everything that's colorful and lovely and bubbly, but it's really cool to see a real side of influencers.
Yeah, because it's like sometimes it's the happiest people who are also suffering. So, yeah. So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Well, hello, Alicia. Thank you so much for being here. I'm a longtime fan of yours. I've been stalking you, I think, since 2020. So we're really excited to have you here. We want to hear all about how you got into influencing, how you developed being a content creator, and particularly now that you have also added author to your titles.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to chat today.
Yeah. So we were just talking because you are also an East Coast transplant in LA, like myself. So what brought you to LA originally?
So I'm from like the DC area originally, and it was during the pandemic. I was actually in the perfect spot for the pandemic. I was in Charlottesville, Virginia, which was out like 2 hours outside of DC, and it's like Virginia wine country, and it's beautiful, and it was great. But me and my boyfriend just were like, okay, this is so nice that we have this like gorgeous house for the pandemic, but like I think we just need a change. I think we were all just going like a little stir crazy, and I had lived on the East Coast my entire life, and I've been wanting to move to LA for a while. I actually wanted to move when I was in my 20s, but a lot of people talked me out of it because they're like, people in LA are fake and yada yada yada, and just like saying all these things, and I was like really scared. But then I was like, let me just try it, because like moves aren't permanent. Like if I hate it, then I can just go back. And honestly, moving to LA has been like one of the best decisions for my careers. I really think that I kind of like took everything that I could from like the DC, Virginia area, and I kind of just like, did everything I could with my blog, but the only way I could grow is if I went to a bigger market. So it was either New York or LA, and both me and my boyfriend lived in New York, and we're just like not New Yorkers. So LA it was.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm from Philly originally, but I was in LA for 10 years, and I just moved to New York for school. But I definitely still feel like I am more of a Philly person, which I know is very controversial, but Philly, it just feels like you can own it in a way that you can never own New York.
Oh my God, I love Philadelphia. I went to school in Philly.
No way.
So I went to Drexel, and so that was like 18-year-old Alicia in Philadelphia was like having a blast. Like, oh my God, it is like the coolest city, the most underrated food scene. Like the food in Philly is like next level.
Have you been to Padea?
No, I haven't.
Pizza spot in Fishtown, and it's supposed to be the best pizza in the East Coast. And New Yorkers are gonna hate that Philly is claiming to have the best pizza in the East Coast, and New Jersey people are gonna hate that too. But
okay, so I know our listeners are listening to this like, wow, you guys are really vibing. Now, please tell us who this woman is. So, Alicia, please tell us how you started your blog, how you became an influencer. I'm also like really interested how blogging has transitioned into being an influencer. So please just like walk us through.
Yeah. So I feel like a fossil in this industry. So I actually started, it will be 12 years in June. And I started by accident. So I was at college at the time. I was at Drexel, and part of my college experience, you had to do an internship. And I totally thought that I was going to move to New York after I graduated and like work in the fashion industry and like be that girl. So we had 6 months off of school, and I lived in New York for 6 months, and I got to intern for like a really great like American fashion designer and a really high-end fashion PR firm, and I hated it. So I was like, okay, I think I was like, I like fashion, but like, I don't think I necessarily want to work in fashion in this capacity.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like a little devastated and like broken down from that. But I decided I wanted to stay in touch with the fashion industry. So I just started a blog, and I started a blog about like my affordable, like Forever 21 and H&M finds as a college student, because I was super broke. So that was almost 12 years ago. And it was just a hobby in school. This is like before the term influencer was even coined. I was like kind of embarrassed to tell my friends and family that I was doing this, like because it was just like not really like a thing at that point. But I started it, and I started to just like slowly but steadily grow a following, and it was just really, really cool. And for the longest time, I graduated from college, and then I moved back to DC, and I was living and like working full time in marketing there. And I was like juggling the blog and my full time job, like hand in hand. My boyfriend was my blog essentially, because I would like wake up at like the crack of dawn every Saturday to like go shoot with a photographer. And like every night after work, I would like race home for events. And so like I had no time for like anything else, but it was so much fun. And I didn't really like pay attention to how much money I was making off of it. I was just like, this is a fun hobby. This is like so cool. Like, it's just a hobby. It's just a hobby. And in November of 2016, I got interviewed by the Washington Post, and they were like, would you ever do this full time? And I was like, no, like that scares me. It's crazy. And then a month after that interview, I got laid off from my full-time job.
Wow.
And I wasn't really paying attention to what how much money I was making. I was like, whatever. And I went over it with an accountant, and it was like, oh, okay, you're actually making like just as much as you do like your full-time job. And I was like, okay, well, like I got laid off. I have 3 months of severance. Why don't I try this blogging thing full time? And if I'm awful at it, then I have a letter of recommendation from my old boss and an excuse for my job gap. And, I can go back to marketing and all that stuff, but I didn't have to. So yeah, that's how I just stumbled into blogging like full time. I know that blogging is kind of like an antique term for the industry. Like it was before Instagram and everything. Like it was just like, here's your website. And like, that's that. And like, I think like the third year that I was blogging, like Facebook pages were really popular. So it's just all like, it's all like hilarious to me how the industry has like evolved over the years, because it's changed quite a bit in the past 12 years. But anyway, I kind of like accidentally stumbled upon this. I didn't think I was going to do this full time. I was like, I'm going to be a marketing professional. It's going to be great. But yeah, that's how I just kind of like stumbled into it. And now I do it full time, and I really couldn't ask for more.
Yeah.
How did you make that switch from blogging to Instagram, and then being now an influencer in 2023?
Yeah, I think it was like begrudgingly. No, I liked my website, and I started at first when I had my Instagram, it wasn't even linked to my blog for the longest time, because I was like, this is just a stupid thing that I'm like taking bad pictures of my Starbucks cup, sharing it with my friends, with like all the Instagram like filters, like back in the day.
God, I remember
but then I really just had to kind of like listen to like industry change. And I think that that's like the one thing about being an influencer that's like really challenging at times. You just really have to listen to industry change. So like when Facebook pages were popular, I was like, okay, I need to build my Facebook page. That's such a hilarious thing for me to say now. And like I like used to live tweet Scandal like back in the day, and like, I was big on Twitter, and like my Twitter account actually got verified in like 2015 or something like that. It was like so weird, but you just have to like as an influencer, you have to adapt. And I think I just kind of like started looking at industry trends, and I was like, okay, like people are flocking to Instagram, and now people are on TikTok, and I'm a little slow to catch up with TikTok, because honestly, I'm in my 30s now, and I'm getting older. I'm getting older. I'm trying. I'm not as young and hip as I used to be, but I think there's an over 30 audience. I think I was scared of TikTok for the longest time, because I was like, it's a bunch of dancing videos, right? I feel like I sound like a boomer right now, but But then I realized I was like, oh no, there's like a place on TikTok for everybody. And admittedly, I think I spend like at least like an hour a day on TikTok. I probably shouldn't have admitted that to the public. I'm sorry, but it's a great platform. And so yeah, that's basically like how I kind of fell into it. You just really have to like look at industry trends, look at where people are going. There's still value in blogging for sure. I really like it because with a blog, you can if you have like good SEO, then like people can Google search something and then stumble upon your blog. And it's just nice, like organic like traffic that comes in every single month, and it's a little more low maintenance than some of the social media platforms, because I think with social media you have to like constantly feed the algorithm in order for it to like work your way, versus the blog, it's more of like a long-term thing and people can kind of like stumble upon it years and years to come, which I really like. So yeah, I think you just have to like, I really think that like in order to like stay relevant in this industry, you just have to like keep on top of trends. And I'm happy that as a 30 something, I'm still kind of
So I think when I first discovered you, it was because, as we were talking about, we're both passionate foodies. So what did the blog first start out as? Like, what was the content that you were writing about, and how has your content like adjusted now that you're putting it on all of these different platforms?
Yeah. So when I first started blogging, and I think people will still give you this advice now, but I think it's awful advice. People were like, stick to a niche, stick to a niche, stick to a niche. And I was like, okay. So when I first started, I just come out of like working in fashion for 6 months, and I just shared my like affordable fashion finds, like, cause I'd be shopping at Forever 21 and H&M and just like all these stores and everything that were just like, you know, budget friendly for a 21-year-old college student.
Yeah.
And I've grown so much in the past 12 years. And I think it's okay as a creator to grow and just like reframe what you're interested in. I noticed that my audience was growing up with me, which is awesome. And as my audience was growing up, I started to just delve and like try more topics. I didn't want to pigeonhole. I don't think anybody should ever pigeonhole themselves. And I think it's natural that like somebody who is interested in fashion, like they're getting a cute outfit so that they can go out to a cute restaurant and go get something to eat. So, or they're getting a cute outfit for a vacation. So like, I kind of just like branched off to things that were just like natural for people my age to be interested in. So now it's become like, I also started dating a food photographer too in 2017, and it'll be like 6 years in April. So I have gained so much weight since dating him, and it's been amazing. I do not need to be a size 2 anymore, but I've eaten some of the best food in my life and I have no regrets. So I think that just was like a big pivot for me too, just because he was photographing all these restaurants and I got to try them and I was like, this is amazing. I love it. So, and also too, my budget changed. Cause like as a 21-year-old, it's like, honestly, I was eating at McDonald's like once a week, which is no shade. I still love McDonald's. I still love it to my core, but now it's like, okay, cool. Like now you can try like a Michelin star restaurant but also have like bomb street tacos. Like, so, street tacos were more so what 21-year-old Alicia did, but like now 30 something Alicia can like afford to like invest in like cool places. So like I think it's cool to like not pigeonhole yourself as an influencer and just think about things that like your audience might naturally be interested in. And I mean, honestly too, sometimes like I talk about things that I was like, I don't know if my audience is interested in this either. Like I really like Formula One. So I watched Drive to Survive during lockdown in 2020. And I was like, I'm really into this. And I know this is like a very niche thing, but some of my audience members like it. So I think it's cool to just like, I think that we're all like multifaceted people. And I think it's really hard to like narrow yourself down to a niche. So like all this advice, like stick to one niche. I'm just like, I hate that advice. Cause like everybody has different interests. We're not all like one track. So that's how it kind of like developed that I transitioned into other verticals other than like just fashion.
Well, I'm really curious about like a little off topic, but you know how likes and follows and all of that can get to someone and really get someone burnt out from the industry. How have you been able to manage to keep going and keep being motivated, even if like, let's say you didn't get enough likes or follows off of like one or two posts that you like really put a lot of effort into?
Oh yeah, Instagram crushes my soul like on a regular basis. Like, the algorithm is so bad on Instagram. Like, it's bad, and I'm not gonna lie. Like, sometimes I'm just like, oh man, like I was like, like you see the numbers going down and down because like over the past 3 years, I'm just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, it's so crazy. But I think what really pumps me up is that it's not a reflection of me. It's not a reflection of like, oh my God, like, first off, yeah, is everything that I post going to be great? No. But I kind of take everything as like a learning lesson. And I also have not been afraid to like reshare things to like my stories because I feel like it's cool to come on stories every single day and like see your tribe and like see who is like really there and like showing up for you on a regular basis, right?
Right.
And thank goodness for Instagram stories because I feel like that's like my favorite thing about the platform right now because it fosters a little more of a sense of community, and that's where you can be like a little more real and authentic, and like people feel like they're like, oh cool, like I can DM her and stuff like that, and they're patient with me if I don't respond sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I'm very lucky enough that I have like about like 100 to 200 DMs that I get from people every single day, and I'm
Wow.
very fortunate and thankful that I have that. So when I kind of look at like the activity that's going on like behind the scenes, that like it's not the likes, it's not the comments, it's not like the follower count, it's like the fact that like there are like 100 to 200 people like every single day that like care enough to like reach out to me. I'm like, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Right. And like these are like my diehards. And I think too, like I was talking about it to somebody. I think it's like a stat, like if you have like we're on a podcast, but if you have a podcast and if you have like 100 super fans, then like that's awesome. And that's like something that you can monetize. And I feel like sometimes in the grand scheme of things in social media, I think you get caught up with numbers and everything like that. But the algorithm is going to do whatever the algorithm does. I can't control it. But for those like hundreds of people a day who were like actively engaging with me, I'm like, that's really tight.
Yeah.
And I show up for them. And I know that there are more people who like my content who probably just like don't see it because of the algorithm, but it's still really cool that you have like hundreds of people a day that you're engaging. And like, I wouldn't like, I don't think that that's anything to like write off. So that hopefully that like puts things in that kind of like put things in perspective for me, and it gives me the motivation to keep going. So
Yeah. I was going to ask you, how do you gauge like how your audience changes and how your platform shifts? Like, is it through DMs? Is it through like seeing what works?
yeah, so it's a combination of both, because obviously like sometimes a post will bomb and I'm like, I have to really evaluate like, why did this like not work? Like, is it the way that I shot it? Is it like content that's like just not interesting to my readers? Like what's like, like sometimes it's just like strictly the algorithm and I can't like beat myself up about that. But I think it's important to just like listen to, your feedback that you're getting, and like also just like look and see numbers wise how posts are doing. I got a lot of requests because I have this I don't know, I have this series that's a little bit on pause because I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with it. But I have this Wine Wednesday series, and it's a fun series. I just kind of break down wine and make it more attainable for millennials, and I still want to keep it up. However, I got a lot of feedback from a lot of people, being like, oh my God, I love this series so much, but I'm just not drinking right now for whatever reason.
Or
And
like
you know what?
January or
January, and then also just like people get pregnant,
Yeah.
or like people just like want to take, like they're sober curious, and I'm like, that's totally fine, and I want to support you. So in January I was like, okay, well, like why don't I just like try non-alcoholic wines, and like could that way it's still like wine content but it doesn't have alcohol in it, so anybody who's like not drinking can appreciate it. And it was a really cool like thing that like I really liked how it turned out. My audience was super engaged with it, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, like that kind of signaled to me. I was like, I don't know whether I need to do Wine Wednesday like every Wednesday. I think there was like a point in time where it was, cool to do every Wednesday, and I still want that to be a major vertical. but I don't know if it necessarily needs to be like every Wednesday. And like, how can I reimagine this? And like, how can I like rework it? So I think it's just kind of like important to like listen to people. And again, I'm not like quitting it cold turkey, but you know, that's just like one instance of like where I'm kind of getting it from. Also too, I think I kind of like got caught up because I do this full time. And I feel like I'm either in like loungewear or like a maxi dress. And like there's like not a lot of in between in my closet. And then it was just kind of like, okay, girly, you need to like take a step back and like have like casual outfits and like, you know, just things like that. So I try to like, you know, listen to people because I think sometimes like, especially being a creator full time, I'm not saying that you just aren't like connected to like real life necessarily, but I think like creatively, and sometimes it's like thinking creatively isn't like practical for everybody involved. So I think that sometimes you just have to take a step back and be like, okay, like you might have a cool idea, but like how is it going to relate to your audience and how can you serve your audience?
No, it's so true. And I love that you say this because I think that you are very relatable. And that's one of the things that I love about your content. But like with other influencers who sometimes like I think are misreading their audience, I will be like laughing at them because they'll share a post and they'll have like their Bottega bag and they'll be like, this is my outfit to go pick up the kids in. And like, not that I have kids, but like, I would imagine I'd have like a diaper bag, you know, some toys, like maybe the iPad, like
some
what
snacks.
are the snacks? Yeah. And I don't think that I'm wearing a Bottega bag. I think I'm wearing something that's like a hoodie, leggings, like things that are getting me from place to place to place, you know? So I think that sometimes it's like, come on guys, like read the room. Like nobody is bringing their boots and their white jeans to kids pick up.
No, like one thing that I've gotten like super into lately, I love my designer bags. Like I'm like a handbag fiend.
Yeah.
But one thing I've developed like a little bit of a Lululemon belt bag collection because sometimes I live in downtown LA and I live within walking distance of so many things, but I'm like, sometimes I just don't want to carry a $5,000 bag when I'm going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like what do you it's not always practical. Like, I'm just like, okay, here's like my $38 like Lululemon belt bag that like, cause what do I need to go to the grocery store? My phone, keys, wallet. Like, I don't.
That's it. You don't need a big bag.
No. And also reusable bags cause California, but like, like that's it. Like, you know, yeah, I think there has to be like, I think it's easy to get disconnected from reality sometimes when you do this full time, but I think you really do have to like humble yourself and you really have to like think about like, okay, when I was like working a 9 to 5, like what were the things that I needed outfits for? Like I needed outfits for my job, I needed outfits for like the weekend, like running errands, things like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to like move into those 3 things. And I like to have fun and like play around with photo shoots and do like a grand maxi dress flipping up in the air moment. But people like, I had a humbling moment because I was just in a store in the holidays and this woman asked me, she was like, you look amazing, but where are you going to wear this? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, life? Like, I was like, sometimes you need like a tulle pink dress. Like, I was like, okay, like, let's dial it back a little bit, Alicia. I still bought it because it's amazing.
Who asked you that? Was it the person who was working there or some random person?
Oh, it was a random person. And I was like, that's a good question.
Like I saw you were at the Goop event, and like I do think because Ash and I are both actors, like there's a lot of like in this career, like networking events or like red carpet moments. You know, like I got a Rent the Runway subscription because I was buying too many like one-off items that I wasn't re-wearing. So I don't know. I do think that like there are reasons for the maxi dress.
Definitely.
Yeah. There's a reason, but like sometimes I'm just like, okay, like the maxi dresses are great and we're never going to let those die. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, like maybe just like show your favorite jeans because people wear jeans.
Yeah. Everyone wears jeans.
Yeah.
Everyone.
So I want to talk about your book. What made you decide to write it? What inspired you? And share a little bit about your creative process writing it as well.
So my book is like, I feel like one of the best things to come out of 2020 in lockdown, because before I was like locked down, I was getting really heavy into travel blogging. Like 2019 was like my biggest, and like obviously like I think 2022 now has superseded that, but like to date 2019 was like my biggest travel blogging year, and I just like was not in one place, and I was like going all like, you know, just like doing the most. And then lockdown happens, and I was in the lovely town of Charlottesville, Virginia. It's like in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and I was honestly so excited to be home that fall because I was like, oh my god, like I'm not like traveling. Like I was just like, this is actually kind of great because I can like go apple picking safely because it's like an outdoor activity, and like go leaf peeping. And I was like, this is like amazing. And I just like went full in that fall. Like I was like, oh, I'm home. Like I was like, I'm gonna do all the fall things. So and for those of you who are listening, my book is a fall themed lifestyle guide. So I just kind of like went all out, and just was like, I'm gonna be like that girl during the fall because it's a magical season. Okay, like don't take this away from me.
Yeah.
I started just getting like way more into the fall content, and I got really, really lucky. I don't know if this journey is typical for people, but because I blog, because like I actually, you know, still had the website and was like writing all my fall themed, like, you know, articles and everything. A publisher actually found me and was probably like, this girl is insane. She loves fall, but we love that for her. So they reached out, and they had this concept in development, and they were like, we have this fall themed book that we're hoping to launch. I still had to like quote unquote like apply, so I still had to send like a pretty lengthy proposal and like sample articles and everything like that, but I ended up getting that bid, and I got to work with Chronicle Books. They were such a great publisher. I never thought that I'd write a book, which it's so crazy that this book kind of stemmed from the blog, which is like so awesome. Really, the sky's the limit in this industry. But yeah, I got to partner with them on that. I was super excited. Like I was like, oh my god, I'm living like my best basic girl life. It's amazing. So yeah, it took about like 2 years from when we signed the contract to when it published to release in 2022. But yeah, I'm just thankful. Again, I'm just thankful for my time home in 2020. I know that like obviously a lot of things happened in 2020 that weren't great, but just having the opportunity to slow down and just really appreciate everything that my town had to offer, even though that I couldn't leave and like travel that much, it really just opened another opportunity for me. So yeah, if you love fall as much as I do, go check it out. It has like recipes and DIYs and entertaining tips, and it's like pumpkin spice in a book. It's I'm looking at it right now. It's like it's getting me cozy.
Wait, can we see the little cover?
Yes. It's like I'm like, I didn't even plan for this to be next to me. I just have.
I thought you were gonna get up and go get it.
No, it's like it's literally next to me on
How beautiful.
but yeah, this is my child. Yeah, it's great. I still have like a stack of them actually on my desk because as an author, you get like a bunch of like, you know, just copies and stuff as part of your contract. So sometimes when I say thank yous to brands, which if you are an influencer or like an aspiring influencer, say thank you to brands. If you have a really good collaboration, say thank you. I just like to send my book out to brands that I really enjoyed working with. So that's why I just always have like a stack on my desk just so that I can like have it ready to go whenever I'm like, oh cool, like I worked with so and I want to just like say thank you and just show some love.
And do you have any further plans like in the future to write more books?
Right. So as of right now, not solid plans, but I'm super happy with the book sales. The publisher was really happy with the book sales. You know, like can't rule out like a second book. I will say it was like the most challenging thing that I've ever done in my career. If I did write a second book or like even develop like a concept for a second book, I would need to like fully take off from blogging. I also was like a total idiot, and I was like writing this book and moving across the country at the same time. 10 out of 10 I would not recommend. So I think I'm like still a little scarred from that like poor planning of life, but it all ended up working out. I have a gorgeous LA apartment. I'm here, I'm settled, the book is out. But yeah, just if you ever write a book, please just don't plan on doing anything else for like a solid 3 months, because like it's a process. So yeah, I think I just need to like have a come to Jesus moment and just really look and see like what my schedule is going to be like. Because now like travel's started to pick up for me again, which I love, but I would have to like dial it back on that front for sure to like make it work.
You talked on Instagram a little bit about how only 5% of authors are Black. What do you think that like our listeners and general people can do to start seeing more content from Black authors?
I would look in your community. I didn't even realize this, but LA has multiple bookstores that are owned and operated by BIPOC folks. And there was a new bookstore that opened up in Pasadena called Octavia's Bookshelf. And it's actually like an entire bookstore that spotlights BIPOC authors, which is awesome. Primarily, most of them are Black, but there were like definitely some titles by Latin authors and other people of color, which I really appreciated. I just went into the bookstore and I just like asked, like, I was just like, hey, like, I'm seeing all these titles and like, can you just tell me like, what are your favorites? I love book recommendations from other people. Also, too, if your local bookstore isn't carrying anything, I learned this as an author, but if there's a book that's published by, you know, like any sort of publishing company, and as long as it's not self-published, it's really easy for the bookstores to get a hold of the books. So if you see, and I love supporting local bookstores too. Don't get me wrong. I know people like will prefer to shop on Amazon and things like that, but I think it's so cool when you can just like go to a bookshop and support the community. I'm still traumatized by Borders closing. I know it was a big bookstore, but like I just want bookstores to stay open.
It's so sad. I spent hours in Borders growing up.
I love Borders. I love Borders. Like I'm just like, oh, like Barnes. I mean, respect to Barnes and Noble though, but like,
bougier. It's not the same as Borders.
No, Borders was great. So like that's why you didn't.
I didn't grow up here though, so it could have been before I moved here.
I was Borders. I had Borders like in DC. Like in like the DC suburbs.
Okay, so maybe it was an East Coast thing too.
Maybe it was just like an East Coast thing.
I feel like it was national.
I don't know. Like I'm just like, please, like whoever's listening, please let us know if you had a
bring it back.
I might actually just like poll my audience on stories. Like, did you guys have Borders? Because like Borders was
please tag us.
Do a question thing and let us know, because I've never heard of it. But also, speaking of bookstores, have you been to Reparations? I think it's in Culver.
Yes. Reparations is so nice. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's one of my favorites. But yeah, like honestly, if you research and like find a title by a BIPOC author and you want to support and your local bookstore maybe just doesn't happen to have it, ask them to order it for you and they totally will. And the cool thing is like, you know, sometimes they'll only order one, but sometimes they might order like a case of books. And then it's on the shelves and then other people from the community can find that book and it's like, you know, kind of like a whole thing. Because I told I didn't even realize that was like a thing that bookstores can do, but it's like you can return like if you order books from a publisher, you can return them like and get your money back if they don't sell. So it's like not really like a huge risk to a bookstore to like just place the order for the books. So
wow. So first of all, Borders was a national chain, just so everyone knows. It was based in Michigan. Just want to let the record show. And now I have kind of a silly question for you. And, you know, I'm a little disappointed that you're wearing gray today because you talk on your Instagram about how you love wearing color. So I was ready for you to be wearing color. Yeah. What is this thing with you and color? And then why are you wearing gray today?
Why am I wearing gray today? I
think lying honestly, to me, lie to your followers.
I'm a fraud. I am a fraud. No, honestly, I think this weather in LA is getting to me. Like, I don't know what is happening. Like, it's been so cold. I would like a refund from the state of California. I did not move here for this. So I think honestly, like this choice is just reflecting my mood. Okay. But in all seriousness, I do have a friend coming over tomorrow and actually staying at my apartment. So I was like cleaning before this call and like just kind of like doing admin work. It's like not glamorous, but I normally I love color. Number one, just as a Black woman, color looks great on me. It's just a selfish reason. Like color just looks great on me. It's so fun to just like put on. I think it's hilarious because like I'll wear like orange and people are like, oh my God, that's your color. And then I'll wear pink. And then people are like, oh my God, that's your color. And I'm like, I think all of the colors are my color. Okay. Like it's me being a little selfish, but also too, it's like, it's so fun just to like, I love using fashion as a way to express myself. And I'm definitely not like LA trendy at all, but it's still so fun to just like wear like color and just kind of like be like, just do my own thing. I feel like myself, I feel confident. And I feel like it shows to other people. I don't dress for compliments necessarily, but like I think that it's really cool when like you're feeling yourself in an outfit and then like other people are like, oh wow, she also like, you know, she looks amazing. Like, wow, look at her. Please don't dress just for the sake of compliments. But like if you are wearing something and you're like feeling it, like by all means go for it. Also, I got diagnosed with major depression in 2020, March of 2020. I started antidepressants like the week that everything shut down. It was awful. I truly was like, what is going on? But I feel like color is a fun way just to like lift up my spirits. And honestly, the last day that I like wore an all black outfit from head to toe was like the day that Trump got elected to office. So I'm like, that's just like a mourning. It's like a mourning color for me. And I just don't want to be like mourning. Like I want to have fun. I want to live. I want to have life. So yeah, I just kind of associate color with like fun and just like a fun way to just like express my personal style. And it also just like, it makes me happy. So I always try to tell people like wear whatever makes you happy. I know that I have a very distinct and specific style and like, it's not going to be everybody's tea. Just like wear whatever makes you happy. And if you feel uncomfortable in a color, like please, for the love of God, like don't wear it. But also maybe try to have fun with it. It could be your thing. Who knows?
What are some of your favorite clothing brands?
I love Farm Rio. I thought Farm Rio is like my favorite. It's so funny because I had this like troll in my DMs like repeatedly message me saying like, you look terrible in this. And I'm like, I don't, but like, like, you know, thank you. Like, but yeah, Farm Rio is this really cool Brazilian brand and they've been gaining a little bit more national popularity in the US over the years. And the cuts of their clothes, it fits me so well. I'm a curvy girl, I'm size 10, and like in that mid-range sizing, like it gets really weird and murky. Like I'm not plus size, but I'm also not like a straight size. So sometimes like brands just really miss the mark in terms of like being able to like create a garment for somebody who's like a size 10, right? Versus like Farm Rio, I don't know how they do it, but like everything that I put on my body from them pretty much is like gold. So that's my favorite one. And I also really like Cezanne. There's this really cool French brand. And again, they're like picking up more popularity in the United States, but I really love them because they're sustainable and they're really fun. And I think everybody can find something from Cezanne. They do like a lot of really cool neutrals, but they also aren't afraid to have fun with color too.
So if you could like line up what your perfect career would look like what would be some of the next steps that you would see happening?
Yeah. Oh my God, this is going to sound so typical LA, but this is something that I did not expect when I moved to LA. And it just kind of like happened. I randomly had people reach out to me for like hosting gigs. And I've done a couple hosting gigs and just like on camera work. And that was just super exciting to me. And I was like, I'd love to like take improv classes and get a little bit better at the whole hosting bit. I love influencing, but you know, algorithms can get you down. It's still really cool to have a community to like lean back on. But I think with the book and like these hosting gigs, I think I would like to take on more projects that are outside of the traditional influencer sphere. I've also just been doing this for 12 years. So I'm just starting to get like a little like antsy and I'm just kind of like, okay, like what's next? Because I think it's hard for anybody to commit to a job for like 12 years. I definitely don't want to like start on a second book now, but like I would love for that to be in my future at some point. Just I think also like I'm hoping to do like more YouTube stuff because the long form video scared me for a really long time, but I talk a lot clearly, so I think I'd be good at it.
Ash, I'm going to let you ask your very favorite question.
Yes, my favorite question, which we've been asking everyone, because we want to know what kind of makes you who you are, and that starts with the morning. So do you have a morning routine? What is your morning routine that helps you be a successful blogger influencer?
I think it's so funny because a lot of people, and I have a total respect for it, they're like, I wake up and I meditate and things like that. And I just don't. I'm sorry. I wish I was one of those people, but I don't.
But /healthy habits.
Healthy habits, yeah.
Healthy habits. So one thing, I don't know why this is so luxurious to me, but a hot water with lemon. It just feels like luxury. I put mint in it sometimes too. It just feels like spa water.
Mhm.
So like I love starting off my day with that before I have coffee, because I need a coffee. But like before I have coffee, I'm like, let me just like nourish my body. I'm in LA, I'm in a desert, I'm probably dehydrated anyway. Like, please
Probably.
just get this
Yeah.
water in you. So it's just like a really fun way to start it off. And honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest, and I think this falls into health 100%. I start my day off with a little dance party.
So
Just
cute.
I put on like whatever I'm feeling for the last, like, I swear probably like 6-7 months. Beyonce's Renaissance is just such a fun album, and it just like, it gets me going. And I have not gotten tired of it. We should probably look into that. We should probably unpack that, but haven't gotten tired of it. It's just like such a fun way to start the day. And I used to dance growing up. I was in like competitive dance and everything like that. So moving my body like that is just like always just like really fun. And it's just like whatever stress I'm feeling, it just goes away. So hot water with lemon and a dance party.
Even when you're sad, you dance in the morning?
So the cool thing about dancing growing up is like I had to go to the dance studio no matter what mood I was in, no matter if I was happy, no matter if I was sad, angry. And the cool thing about dance and like moving your body like that is just like there's a dance for everything, right? Like it's just one of the coolest ways to like express yourself. I had to learn through my dance training too, like not every dance is like a happy dance. Sometimes it's a sad dance, sometimes it's a morning dance. And I love like just like choreographing things in my head, and like I will never post any of these to TikTok, by the way. I'm just like I just don't do that. Like during 2020 for me, actually, like during the like George Floyd riots, I actually like, choreographed kind of like sad ballet pieces in my head just to like cope with like that mourning and everything. So I dance when I'm happy, I dance when I'm sad. It's like it's always been a consistent, and I think it's just because like I had to go to the dance studio every day growing up, whether it didn't matter what mood I was in.
And just to be clear, are you getting up after your boyfriend, or is your boyfriend like pillow over his head, like please stop?
I get up before him. So I use these things called Bose sleep buds because I live in downtown LA, and I'm a little like I'm a little bit of a light sleeper. So like there's sirens and like people honking horns and everything like that at any given time. I also live like kind of close to the Staples Center, which is also known now as Crypto.com Arena, and I hate that name. So there's always like some sort of noise outside of my apartment at any given moment. So I sleep with these sleep buds in, and it has an alarm. So like my alarm is always before his. So yes, I get up before him, and I just like I come out to the living room, and I just like do it up by myself. Wow. He does not have to witness that. But yeah, this is probably like one of the more embarrassing things I'll admit on like
I love
there.
it.
But like yeah.
Because my boyfriend has a speaker in the shower, and like I'll be asleep and I can hear the damn speaker in the shower. Like nobody is being immune from this. Everybody hears you.
Oh God, no, I love my AirPods. Like I love my AirPods. Yeah, no. And like, honestly, sometimes I'm up at like 7:30, and I think my neighbors would like, my apartment's like newer. So like the soundproofing's pretty good. But like, honestly, the idea of like my neighbors hearing like break my soul at like 7:15 a.m. I'm like, let's spare them, please.
I'm gonna tell you about these sleep buds. That's a good idea.
I love the AirPods. The AirPods like yeah, my AirPods like charge right next to my bed too, because I have like one of those like things that charges like your phone, AirPods, and your Apple Watch like all in one. So like it's just really easy for me to be like, okay, cool, like grabbing the AirPods and going, bye.
So I feel like you'll have a really good answer for our initial DM question because you get so many of them. But please tell us what the funniest, wildest, most intriguing, or inspirational DM that you have ever gotten is.
The most inspirational, I get a lot of inspiring stuff every single day. It's really cool because like I'm pretty open with like if I have a bad depression day. And it's really awesome that you can connect with people. Like you're never really the only person going through something, right? This just like gave me a whole thing, but somebody said, like somebody just told me like grief comes in waves, and I just thought it was like one of the most beautiful things, because grief isn't like necessarily linear. And it kind of showed that like it's okay. It was just like a nice reminder that it's okay to like not be okay. And you really just have to like take things one step at a time. And I just am always thankful that the people who follow me like are always like willing to give me grace, because I know sometimes like I can sort of show up, sometimes I can't show up. Really, it's been a really awesome like space for wellness, and I'm just really thankful for this like awesome community that I was given. Like honestly, it's been awesome.
I love that. Okay, we're gonna get into the DM of the week question. And our DM of the week asks, what's the hardest part of sharing your life on social media?
I think the hardest part is that some people feel entitled to every single thing about social media. It was really interesting because I went home for the holidays and I hadn't been able to go home in like a year and a half to the East Coast. And my family doesn't like to be on social media. Or they're okay with it, but they're like, oh, like, it's just kind of like, you don't want to like put them on blast, right? Because like they didn't sign up for this career, I did. And even my boyfriend too, he doesn't necessarily love being like, I have to ask him. That's why I joke, like we have like 5 pictures a year that we post together. Because I have to ask him. But like people feel entitled to like every part of your life, and you really just have to set a boundary and be like, okay, like, I hang out with my friends a lot and I don't post them on social media. Like I don't post everything that I do to be like, oh my God, I had so much fun. Like, you know what I'm saying? But then people will like, sometimes people will assume like, oh, she went to a concert and she didn't like post about it. And she's like, yeah, I didn't have to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I went to a concert and like, God forbid, I was so into it that I didn't take out my phone. Or like, who wants to see like 70 million bad concert clips from my story? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I think it's just like drawing the boundaries and like just saying like, I can share this much of my life, but like, then that's it. Some people will get it and some people don't. And, some people unfollow because of boundaries that you set, and it's fine. I'm like, that's totally fine. But yeah, not everybody is owed everything. And especially too, I've become a lot more protective about sharing my friends and family. So if you're like my friend who's listening to this and you're wondering why I've never posted you on my story, it's just because like, I don't want to like put you on blast with a bad photo and then you're like, Alicia, why did you do this? I'm like, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather just like, and I also just, I don't know, like I like to have my phone down when I hang out with my friends. It's so interesting that I feel like people feel the need to like broadcast like every single thing that they do on social, and like you really don't. So yeah, I think setting boundaries as an influencer is important, and especially like valuing what the people in your life like their boundaries as well, because like that's why I just don't post my family either. My parents also work in the government, like respectfully, so that's probably another reason why they're like, please don't. I'm like, okay, I got you.
You don't want to be in my dancing TikTok?
Like what? It's like I have like permitted photos like that I can post once a year. So like if it's Mother's Day and you've seen the same Mother's Day photo for the past 7 years, no, you didn't.
Those are my approved photos.
It's like you really do. And I hope that people can also like take that to heart too. Like some people might not want to be on your social media. So like really just like just think about it before you post other people. Obviously please like, share your joyous moments and things like that. But I think like consent is pretty cool.
Yeah. What a great way to end on. Well, thank you so much for being here, Alicia. It was so lovely hearing your story about your book and how you got into blogging. Where can everybody find you to follow you and then also to buy the book?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am Alicia Tenise on social, like everywhere, even on TikTok. And my website is aliciatenise.com. Tenise is spelled like Denise, but with a T instead of a D. You can thank my parents for that creative spelling. You can also buy my book at anywhere books that are sold. So it's on Amazon, it's at Barnes & Noble, Target. But also if you want to support your local bookstores, just pop in, and if they don't have it, then they can order it for you.
All right, everybody. Well, it's been another episode of Damsels in the DMs. Please continue to send us your DM of the week questions. We'll post who our upcoming guests are, and we'd love to hear what you'd like to know from them.
And please like, subscribe, review, engage with us on any platform, social media. We want to know what you guys think of the podcast. Honestly, it's so helpful to hear from you guys, and we love staying connected to you. You're our family, you're our friends, so it's really, without you we won't have a podcast, so it is really cool to be connected with you guys. So keep writing to us.
Yeah, and rating and reviewing, please. We love that.
Yes.
On Apple and Spotify, because it allows us to keep making content. So support content creators. All right, well, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Damsels in the DMs.
Until next time.
It's going down in the DMs. Bye.
DMs, we don't need them, we just leave them.
Please.
Yeah.
It's going down in the DMs. Bye.